Greetings, everybody. I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. Welcome to another classic movie review. After that last video I did where I went over my 10 worst movies of 2025, I am really tired of talking about shitty movies, so I'm happy to be talking about a great film, a black and white crime drama from 1950, directed by Joseph H. Lewis. Lewis. Yep, that's him. Gun Crazy, starring Dall and Peggy Cummins. Dall plays the character of Bart, a character that is obsessed with guns at a very early age. At the very beginning of the film, we meet him as a young boy as he's trying to steal a gun from a store when he breaks the window and gets caught by a cop. And pretty soon we see him in court, and we see his sister trying to help him out, trying to make sure that, the judge isn't too hard on him, and his friends trying to tell the judge, this kid may be, into guns, but he's not a bad kid. At a very young age, Bart becomes an expert with a gun, but there's a moment when he's outside fooling around as a young boy that he kills a baby chick and feels horrible about it. And from then on vows to never kill anything or anyone ever. And even when there's a mountain lion and his friends are like, come on, you can shoot it, because they're kind of trying to egg him on because they know how good he is when it comes to shooting, he won't even kill the mountain lion even though there's like a bounty on his head. And so, yeah, he kind of has this rule that he sticks with, for better or worse. But one day he meets somebody that kind of ends up compromising that rule, a lady by the name of Annie, who he meets at a carnival during a little shooting demonstration. She's a pretty good shot herself and puts on a hell of a demonstration, and he's invited to show her up because they have a little contest to see if somebody can actually beat her at shooting. Peggy Cummins' character Annie is your classic movie femme fatale that is turned on by Bart's skills as a marksman, and they become thick as thieves. And when I say thieves, literally, after a while it becomes kind of a Bonnie and Clyde situation. Even though he's not a criminal at first, she kind of pulls him into the life by accident, and so he becomes, into her in a romantic way and vice versa. Before you know it, she has him wrapped around her finger and he'll do anything for her. When it comes to her performance, Peggy Cummins is terrific in the role of Annie in this film. She's very believable as this sociopath of a woman who is good with a gun and always aching to pop a cap in somebody's ass, but it's Bart that always keeps her from doing it, well, most of the time, but he's always trying to restrain her and make sure that nobody gets killed, but that only lasts so long. This may be a black and white drama, but ultimately this is a crime thriller with real suspense, real tension, since our main characters get themselves in some really sticky situations, shootouts and car chases, and every now and then they're kind of put in a corner, and we got to see, how are they going to escape this time and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's fast paced, very well edited. It's shot terrifically. The dialogue is real snappy and crisp. The direction is on point. The performances are mesmerizing, but most of all, it's the chemistry that really draws us in as an audience, because these two actors, Dall and Peggy Cummins, are great together as this mad couple that you kind of want to see come out on top, but that she is, well, the character of Annie, the Peggy Cummins character, she's more of the Svengali. She's the one that's really kind of messing with Bart's, well, I guess his value system, his moral code or whatever. And so, she's really, the villain of the film. It's one of those films where you're kind of rooting for the bad guys at times because they just happen to be our two main characters. At the same time, the movie doesn't glorify these characters or their actions because we see the consequences of the life they choose and the mistakes they make and the people they hurt, how they hurt themselves in the long run, and even like their relationships with, like with Bart and his sister, how at one point he comes to stay with his sister, he brings Annie, and they're holding up at his sister's place, and she's really scared, and her kids are there, and Bart sees how it affects them, and also it takes a toll on his friendship with, the childhood friends he had who grow up to be a newspaper guy and a sheriff. And so that confrontation gets pretty interesting towards the end. I know a lot of movie fans out there, particularly young people, have this hang up about checking out old movies. Maybe they feel they're, too dated or just too old, or, can't get into black and white or whatever, for whatever reason. But if you think a black and white movie can't be exciting or thrilling or fun, I'm telling you, you're really wrong about that. And I found that out at a very young age. Even back in the 90s, there were kids like me that had the same hang up. But growing up watching this kind of stuff, I just loved old classics that, when they're done right, they can be so much fun to watch. And this movie right here, this is a great film. If you enjoy a good crime drama, a good thriller, a good suspense movie, check out 1950s Gun Crazy. I give it 4 stars, and if you're a movie fan like myself, I highly encourage you to check it out. It's an excellent film. I have my own copy of it, by the way, on DVD because I'm a hard copy kind of guy. There it is. You can see Peggy Cummins' character right there, and you can see her and John Dall there here in the back. I don't know why they had to give him such a small picture there on the cover because, you know, he is like a main character. Either way, great on-screen couple, and check this movie out. I'm telling you, it is fan-freaking-tastic. 1950s Gun Crazy. Thank you all very much for watching this classic movie review. I always appreciate it. If you're into the classics, if you're into movies, if you're into this kind of thing, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications on more reviews coming out from me very soon. If you're a returning viewer, I appreciate your support and your views. Please don't forget to comment, share, like. It always helps. I'll see you guys in the next classic movie review. Everybody, please take care of each other. Till next time, peace out. God bless.